Hi, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. I'm Melissa Peshka with Essential Life Mastery Coaching and Healing. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today, I want to talk to you about your brain on trauma. Yes, your brain on trauma. We've all heard the old saying, your brain on drugs with an egg frying. Okay, kind of the same thing. What happens to your brain when you experience trauma? Just like drugs, it experiences highs and lows, shock. It gets shocked like an electrical hit. The obvious blood rushes through it. You may get dizzy. You may get lightheaded. Some may even pass out. You can't think straight. You can't discern your feelings and your emotions. Those are the obvious. But the neurological, the areas affected are the amygdala, hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, just to name a few. Trauma can be associated with lasting changes in these areas of the brain, which lead to PTSD, which lead to increased cortisol and norepinephrine, which regulate our responses to trauma. It regulates our ability to handle stress. Therefore, when you're triggered after trauma, when you're triggered, we can't respond as well as we could, like we normally would, without that all rushing through our brains, our physical brains. Going through a trauma, your brain controls everything, controls all your bodily functions. So therefore, when you're traumatized, it shuts down. Your body shuts down because your brain isn't functioning properly. The cortisol, the norepinephrine, rushing through your brain, rushing through your body, makes you go into the fight, flight, or freeze functions. You simply can't rationalize what just happened to you. Most initial reaction is rage because you're pissed, you're angry, you're whatever. Then sadness and grief sets in. Now, we all know the 5 stages of grief. Well, there's many more if you really get technical, but the major 5: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, then acceptance. But when the initial trauma happens, what happens to that brain controls what happens to your body. And all the while, where do all these emotions come from? The brain. Your brain on trauma, sending signals to the body. The body's chemicals are flowing, seems backwards. So the mental condition of the trauma evolves into physical trauma. Just as if you experienced physical trauma, your brain is the first to process and to face its effects. So if, it's summer and there's a lot of talk about shark bites. So if you got bit in the leg, what's the first thing that's going to happen? Your brain is going to tell you, ow, what just happened? So that starts here. Then it goes through. Then you feel the pain. When you experience emotional trauma, it's a little different because you're trying to process something that you heard or you experienced, a death of a loved one or learned experience. Your brain processing this goes into your body, and your body starts to shut down. You can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't feel, you can't function, and so many more things. That's all happening because the brain is on trauma and it's sending signals to the body for that purpose of protection. So while your body isn't healthy because of all the signals the brain is sending it, you're lack of sleep, you're sleep deprived, you're not eating healthy or not even eating. A lot of people get physical attributes like, my God, I'm having a brain lapse. Sorry. You have physical conditions that your body can't handle. You go to the bathroom a lot. You just, or you can't. All right. You throw up, get headaches, aches. Anything you do eat goes right through you. You can't process it. So many bodily functions happen. So what's the first thing to do to help protect yourself, to help yourself and your brain? Get away from the trauma. Physically remove yourself. I know your first response is you want to fight. But trust me, flight is your better option. Let your brain calm down. Let emotions settle into place where you can think again and feel. And yes, I know you don't want to feel those feelings, but you're going to have to. Otherwise, you shove them aside, they are going to pop back up. So best to deal with it now. So remove yourself from the trauma. Allow yourself the time to process. It's important to acknowledge the feelings that you're having. Very important. Let yourself cry, scream, feel, process, meditate, exercise, journal. Allow yourself to do the things that your body needs to process this. Make sure you eat good, drink water, and try to sleep or at least rest. Try avoiding numbing things like overeating, overdrinking, overdrugging, overworking, overexercising. All that's doing is numbing those feelings that you need to process. Feeling those feelings is a hard thing because you don't want to face reality that this trauma just happened to you. But it's very important in the process of moving forward and healing. So avoid the numbing activities. Avoid that at all costs. Try doing things to take your mind off of it, yet also embracing it. Do things you like to do, like I said, meditating or exercising, but not overdoing it. I mean, you can't really over meditate. Kind of a cool place to live. And let yourself be vulnerable right now. Take the alone time to cope in healthy ways. It's the vulnerability and the fear where you will find your strength to move forward and to start your work again. That is the key components, because when you go through a trauma, you also may feel some shame. But allowing yourself the vulnerability to feel vulnerable and to feel the fear associated with that brings the calmness. It brings a state of mind where you can process and think things through. If you're working from a place of anxiety and fear and PTSD, it's not going to work for you. Because let me tell you, having been a trauma survivor, you will have triggers. You will be triggered again in your life. I can guarantee you it. I wish I could tell you no, but I guarantee you, you will. So we're taking the time now, initially, to help evolve will change things immensely for you in your future. So I hope this helps you to understand your brain on trauma. It is kind of like a drug. So take care of yourself, be gentle with yourself, and allow. The best thing I can tell you is allow. So if you'd like to talk further about the effects of trauma in your brain, I'd love to chat. Or my coaching program, Thriving, the Art of Becoming the Master of Your Life. Give me a call, give me a message, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much again for watching. Take care.